On this week's episode, I'm joined by Dr. Miguel Stanley. Miguel is born in South Africa, moved across to Portugal with his family literally on a boat when he was 10 years old. Miguel is one of the world's most renowned dentists. He's a podcast host. He's featured on TV shows for Sick in Portugal, CBS in America, and National Geographic. And he's the founder of White Clinics, where he and his colleagues are developing some of the most advanced technology and treatments in dental care. We discuss, amongst other things, Miguel's memories of moving to Portugal, some of the amazing work that he's doing in AI and dental care, what he loves about living in this country, how he has clients from 83 different countries in the world, and how those people are coming to Portugal for certain reasons. He talks about what he loves about living in Portugal and how he just doesn't want certain things to change, especially the Bitok. For those of you listening, head over to our YouTube channel to watch some of this episode. And for those of you watching, click down below and subscribe. And for the full podcast episode, go to Google, Stitcher, Spotify, Apple, or wherever you get your podcasts. And now over to my conversation with Miguel. Welcome back, or welcome to another episode of Portugal, The Simple Life. And I'm joined here by Dr. Miguel Stanley. Miguel, thank you so much for being on the podcast. How are you?
I'm good. Thank you so much for having me. It's a pleasure to be with you here today.
Awesome. Miguel, why don't you start off telling us a little bit about you?
I was born in South Africa, like yourself. I don't know. Were you born in South Africa?
Yes.
Okay, yeah. I was born in Durban.
Okay.
In 1973. I'm 50 years old. My mother's from Manchester, UK.
That's where the little British accent, the bit of the British accent comes out.
I'm half British.
Okay.
My British grandparents moved to South Africa. First after the Second World War, they moved to Australia and then to South Africa. So I was born in South Africa with all my siblings in Durban, and then we moved to Portugal in 1983. We actually sailed from Durban to Lisbon on a small sailing yacht. My dad was in the Portuguese Navy. My dad's Portuguese from Grândola, which is now a hotspot in Portugal, by Melides and all of that. So that's where my father's from. I then went on to become a dentist. I trained as a dentist here in Portugal. I have 2 postgraduate degrees in cosmetic dentistry and oral surgery, implant dentistry. I also have a third one, some training in occlusion. And I founded my first practice at the end of 1999 in Lapa, Lisbon.
Lapa, yeah, nice area.
And so I'm the founder and clinical director of the White Clinic, which is become quite a formidable practice. I have about 40 people on my team. We only have one practice, and I'd say that today, we have patients flying in from over 83. We have 83 different nationalities.
Oh, wow.
And for many years, we've had patients coming in from all over the world. I'm a surgeon. I'm a treatment planner. We have a lot of technology. I'm very fond of technology. I'm on the board of a bunch of clinical organizations, medical organizations. I'm the founder of a few movements. I've got some tech startups in the area of artificial intelligence in healthcare.
Just with your exposure and you're chatting to your clients and stuff, what do you think is the reason so many of them are coming here?
Well, it depends on the financial scale.
Sure.
So you've got, there's an age, and then there's how much money that they have, right? So, you've got your 65-year-old very wealthy. There's more life here, more quality of life, and they're getting away from the politics and all of that in America. Healthcare is cheaper, and amazing. We had amazing healthcare here. Then you've got your younger part they're here for new opportunities, safer for their children.
What was the reason your folks decided to come here?
The reason why, my dad wanted to be closer to his family in Portugal. We had no family. We had no ties in South Africa. No, family. So my father wanted to be close to his mother and to his brothers and sisters. And also, I don't think my father never really connected with the apartheid, that regime, understand? And so, yeah, wanted to come and live in Portugal. We were the OG people that wanted to move to Portugal for a better life.
Yeah, you were way ahead of the curve. Way. I thought I was ahead. You guys were way ahead. And you mentioned you mentioned how you said I'm a local. What does that mean to you? I mean, for you,
Well,
this being your home, how important is that?
It's just look, sometimes I feel like, the Klondike, there was a gold rush in the 18th century, and everybody heard that there was gold bubbling up from the rivers, and everybody went out, gold paneling, and I can only imagine. I mean, I'm not saying that's what's happening, but I feel that with this massive influx of people and business and money, it's just weird sometimes to go to a place where everybody in the room has also only been here for a year. It's kind of like, it's just weird. It's like, it's just weird. So of course I have my Portuguese friends, and then that's cool. But then you go to these events, it's like everybody's mining, trying to look for opportunities and explaining to you how things are. And it's very nice. It's just weird. It's like, yeah, I know, I'm from here. Yeah, of course, I know.
I mean, realistically, Miguel, you could live anywhere in the world with your work and your skill set. I mean, what is it that keeps you here? What do you, as a local, what are the things that you kind of hold on to and appreciate about living here?
Well, I in 2011, I did go to LA for a while. I spent on and off about 2 years in Los Angeles. I don't know. It's just every time I'd come back to Portugal, this is home, and yeah, we thought about that. Where would we want to go? What would we do? But at the end of the day, I think, that thing, home is where the heart is. I'm a foodie, and I love Portuguese food. Not the high fly. I love the basic tasca, bacalhau, good old food. I'm not talking the modern stuff. I'm friends with all the top chefs in Portugal and my buddies, all the fancy stuff. But I'm talking about good old, the guy waiting the tables and the woman in the kitchen cooking the old food. I love that stuff. And you can't get that anywhere else in the world. So for me, the food is one of the major reasons why we stay in Portugal. And, I'm 50 years old, man. I want my kids to grow up here. I'm not going anywhere, man. I love this place.
What are those things for you, Miguel, that you want us to protect and preserve, that need to stay? Not stay, but that we want to hold on to as part of the way here, the way of life, the culture.
Well, look, I'll give you an example of sushi. I'm a traditionalist sushi eater. I like traditional sushi. And then you go to some of these restaurants and they are now like putting strawberries on it. And, I'm like, come on. So what I don't like is if you grab a bitoque, it's a Portuguese, and then we're going to transform it and leave it alone.
Don't change the bitoque.
Don't change the bitoque.
That's the title of this podcast.
There you go. Don't change the bitoque.
That's going to be the title of this episode.
I'm fine with that, man. Don't change the bitoque.
You see people coming and they almost take on some of this Portugueseness, in how we live. I've had a lot of people talk about how Portugal just calms them down. Like they automatically just calm down. They're not so aggressive anymore. I mean, for South Africans, it's a big thing, but for New Yorkers and people from London and these kind of things, how important is that, do you think, for the future, that there is this real inherent respect and kind of, because people aren't coming to, majority of people that are coming to live here aren't living on these big resorts in the middle of nowhere and segregating themselves. They're living amongst
what
people,
I think,
and it's important.
That's such a nice way to put it, what you just said. I like hearing that. That's good. Yeah, now that you say that, I think that people do find this very calm and very tranquil and very kind. I think a lot of people, everyone's saying that, how kind people are. And I think that's a good thing. Another thing that's quite interesting, I don't know if you've heard about this, but you've got a lot of spiritual healers coming to Portugal. A lot of but when I say spiritual, I'm talking about new age gurus, meditation, what we would call
mental health.
Yeah, like what you'd call nowadays hippies, but I'm not that, like,
Yeah.
but really respected spiritual healers doing mental health, meditation, very healthy, very connected to earth, and that's something that's quite incredible, because that attracts and that's something that I'm quite fond of. Very healthy healing, and I'm very fond of that spiritual connection. So yeah, I think it's very exciting times we live in, man. Really, really exciting.
Yeah. But people are constantly surprised about how far ahead this little country is in terms of some of the things that you mentioned: medical care, science. I spoke to another woman the other day on the podcast who's developing a treatment for cancer that will revolutionize the cancer treatment industry. We've got startups. We've got people doing the most incredible work with mental health. This surprises people. I think they expect to come here and still sometimes see donkeys in the street, and they're coming here with all the old world charm that Portugal has, but still at the forefront of, sustainable energy, medical care, all these kind of things. It's amazing.
Make no mistake that Portugal has some of the brightest minds in tech, in healthcare, in science, in research, investigation. We've got some of the smartest entrepreneurs in the world. 500 years ago, we conquered it. And we're not just here for tourism. Portugal's got, some of the brightest minds in so many different sectors. You'll be surprised at some of the stuff that's going on in this country. So bring your A game if you're
come and do stuff.
Come here and do some amazing stuff, because it's you're completely right. It's an incredible. I'm never ceased to be amazed by some of the stuff that I see here.
Yeah.
And again, we have one of the best healthcare sectors in Europe, in the world even. Some of our hospitals, like, oh my God, it's incredible. And compared to the US, very affordable.
Miguel, a question that we ask all of our guests: Portugal, the simple life, why?
It's a happy place. It's a happy place.
Awesome.
Good food. There you go.
Don't change the bitok.
Don't change the bitok.
Miguel, it's been a pleasure speaking to you. Thank you so much.
That's a wrap.
So thank you once again to our guest, and thank you to all of you for listening. Please subscribe, share with your friends, give us a thumbs up, and please leave a comment or a review. We always love to hear from you. Don't forget, Portugal The Simple Life also has a magazine, so download it. It's for free. We'll be back next week with a brand new episode, and as we say in Portugal, sejas bem-vindo. Welcome to The Simple Life.